So have you ever experienced that in your team when you ask somebody that, you know, like ask any simple neutral question like, have you done that task? And the answer that you get is, but you never told me. Or when you say that, have you sent that mail? And they will say that, oh, I never got the time. So sometimes I wonder, which happens with me also in the team, that when I ask a simple neutral question, what I get is some kind of a defense as if I'm blaming them. So which really triggers me because it makes me feel that I'm some kind of a really dictatorial person and I'm pushing people. And so I said, but I was just asking a very neutral question. Why are people getting so defensive? So earlier I would take it on myself also that there's something wrong with me. Of course, I can improve and ask the question in a different way. But then I realized that people have their past wounds and triggers and traumas and patterns that they come with. So if somebody has been blamed very often, and if you ask them, they will be responding like, oh, you didn't tell me, or they will hear some kind of a blame in it. So, and how that can affect the organization, because if one person reacts like this, the others may also then respond like this. Why are you getting so triggered? And then that can escalate and create a more painful or more conflicting situations more often. So you need to understand that it's very important for us to create a safe space, because people are coming from unsafe spaces and they believe that this is also that space, and they are coming from very unhealthy spaces, but it's difficult for them to understand that this is a different space. So you'll have to take a lot of effort. So one thing that we do in our organization is to talk with people on what are their patterns, on what disturbs them, and what is their triggers or what is their wounds, and slowly it comes out. And once we notice also, we try to bring them up on the surface without any sense of blame, and then ask people like, how would they want us to respond or speak in a different way. So once I was there with one of my team member, I was about to ask a question, but I was scared that she's going to get into a defense mode and it's going to trigger me, and I'm not in that space. So I came to her and said that, Tulsi ji, I'm going to ask a question, but you have to really give the answer only in yes and no. So when I asked her, so I said, Tulsi ji, आपने डोसे का बैटर कर दिया क्या? But I told her that पहले से that Tulsi ji, मैं आपसे कुछ पूछूंगा, पर आपको जवाब हाँ या ना में ही देना है. So she was lost with this kind of request from me, but she agreed. So when I asked her कि आपने तुलसी जी आपने डोसे का बैटर कर दिया है, and so she said कि she thought about it, because part of her was wanting to give some defense, but then because I had made the request, she stayed quiet and she said nahi or no. Then I said, good, because we don't need to make dosas tomorrow, so please don't do the dosa batter. So even though my question was wanting a no, but she might have had a fear of saying no. So that's how we talk about it, and then we shared about this pattern. So all these things, and then they say that they often tell me that, Bhaiya, this is something that we have been blamed for so long. So don't expect this to change so soon. But they start acknowledging it, and that starts to make a difference. So in a teal organization, we not just work in self-management, but we also work on past triggers and wounds and try to create a healing space. And I really believe an organization can be a healing space, and it's not about production and earning or creating a surplus or or contributing or working towards a purpose, but our purpose also is served when it becomes a healing space. It's a safe space, and then people are more inspired to contribute there. So if you want to understand how to do this, what are the tools and steps to do this, you can join our 6-session workshop, which is coming soon, on building self-managed teal organizations. Thank you.